Hello everyone. The guys did start a bit early here as we are into the pick and ban phase already. As we are going into a live game between Matkar and T55 here. They jumped the gun a bit and started the whole pick and ban process before sending me the link. But we are still here for the picks. We currently see the visions being banned. Pretty classic bans here. And second Panzer Grenadier, 4th Division, 6 Moto, and 79, 56, and 4th. The 4th fate I still don't quite grasp that is going around this season here. But Territorial Kommando Süd as a first pick. On Vertigo. Interesting. Interesting. That is for sure an interesting little choice here that we have coming out of T55. This should lead to some interesting gameplay for sure for game number 1. The last pick will be line pick. Now, first game, Matkar has the counter pick. Second game, T55 has the counter pick. 9th Panzer. That is a pretty solid pick there as well. So, I like that. That's a really good pick for Vertigo. It is by far a lot slower division. Like, Territorial Commando Süd needs to go on the aggression from the get-go. It has M1 attempts. Can play a bit later. Oh, Matka counter coming in here with first cavalry on Mount River. Good division on the map, quite okay, but we saw it in the hand, losing in the hands of Fortitude fans. Let's see if Division 4 can change the stats of first cavalry on Mount River. This should be a hot one, as we have T55 now counterpicking the first cavalry division. 27th Guards has a good track record on the map with a good start thanks to their reliable anti-tank gun, and the Taurs are the perfect AA for the map basically. You get solid artillery now with the Acacia of the guided ammo being cheaper as well, and you have just an all-around good package. Whilst Eiche is the last map, and now both players picking at the same time. So yeah, we have some live action coming in here. 55 and Matka setting up one. Okay, we have a pick on the right side. 31st Tankovi versus 5th Blinde. Okay. Okay. This is going to be hot. 31st Tankovi versus 5th Blinde on Eiche. T72s versus AMXs. And yeah, those are the matchups. I like Knife Panther as pick on Vertigo. Second one should be interesting. 27th versus 1st Cavalry. That is a pretty similarly weighted divisions against each other. And I feel like 1st Cavalry, when it doesn't get pressured, like we saw in the Division 1 matchup, it should have a pretty good run. 31st versus 5th Blinde, a really interesting one on Eiche as well, where mobility of the French can work out nicely, but where T72s on the high ground can just grind through as well. And yeah, it will be quite interesting to see what the two players will bring around with in the games here now. T55 versus Matka. We will cover the BrokeAssSpaghetti versus phazedplasma games after this live series as well, so all of the quarterfinals will be finished after today. And yeah, we will have to wait to see what comes in here in a minute. The interesting part of the first matchup is that Territorial Commando Süd, when you're looking into a tank tab, Vertigo is usually a pretty tank-focused map. It doesn't really have tanks. It doesn't have any infantry of IFVs either. What it gets is the Green Berets, together with Heimatschützen, as a really, really solid combined infantry lineup, and together with Fallschirmjäger B1 and the AMX-10 RC as a really strong recon opener, plus some anti-helicopter AA in the form of the VLRA. So the Me-2 helicopters of 9th Panzer shouldn't be able to stop this either. 9th Panzer doesn't really have good forward deployment, and it is the much slower division. Air tab here, quite powerful of TKS as well, and it has the M110, so it can do a bit of late game as well. That's one of the reasons why it is nice against other forward deployment division, because it has more late game than those. But against 9th Panzer, against T-72s, you don't want to get into the super long game. You want to set up the pressure and get a solid take from the get-go. But as 9th Panzer otherwise just likely will roll over you, because they have endless numbers of T-72s and relatively affordable ones with the MEVs as well. They have the napalm launcher to control the forest lines, so that should be quite interesting as well. And yeah, they don't really have a good recon opener. The Me-2 US and the Me-2 Yearns in the helicopter tabs, they could usually be quite nice, but the forward deploy 20mm autocannon on the truck, on the VLRA, should be able to hold up with that. They have mod aufklärers, but against the Fallschirmjäger B1s, they won't hold up either, and the BMP1 won't hold up against the MX-10 RC. So those are the moments that you have to use. Otherwise, later on, the mod Schützen with BMP2s and BMP1s and the high amount of T-72s, plus storms and so on, like all of that will run over TKS. Quite curious to see it on Vertigo. Like, I believe there are a couple of matchups where maps where this is a really solid pick. I'm not convinced that it is a great pick on this map, but we will figure it out together, I guess, and see if this actually works out, or if Madgar will have a somewhat easy time there in the first game of the day. Yes, I just have to set up the more things here. This thing started now a bit faster than I expected, so I had to keep up with the two. Okay, they are already on the map. There we will be in here in a second to game number 1 in Madgar and T55. PKS versus Knife Panzer is coming up. We go. This should be a really interesting one. And yeah, they were fixed on the pick and bans. The MX-10 Aufklärer opener, yeah, it is all about the opener. Like, this game might be over after 5 minutes, or it might get into a weird grind long game where TKS desperately tries to stay alive. We'll see how it all goes. This we can get predictions up as well. Will it be T55 with the TKS, or will it be Matka with the 9th Panzer? Prediction up on Twitch. Poll coming up on YouTube in a second here as well. I'm quite interested to see how you see this matchup, guys. If Ultramega B1, they will go into the middle here. They will try to get into the action. Getting out of there with their Panzerfaust 3. Bring any MP1s from there. Yeah, Matka will try the Me Too Yearns. They could be devastating if T55 forgets about them and doesn't bring the VLRA. You need the anti-air helicopter, anti-helicopter, anti-air truck, gun truck. Basically the same truck as this one, but instead of a Milan, it has a 20mm autocannon in the rear. That is what you need to not get bullied by these three boys. Matkar is gambling on that this should work out, which so far we at least don't see them. But obviously deployment is still in the early part of this. So Division 4 by now there are some ranked 200 players in there. At the beginning of the season they were all between rank 8000 and 0 ranks up to like rank 500. But some of them grinded up by now. Like a couple of them hadn't played any 1v1 games beforehand. A couple of them, and so on. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully seeing you next time there, Bedrecky. We will for sure have it open for. We might introduce a Division 5 next season as well if we get enough signups for and try to go there with completely fresh people. But I mean, you should be fine in Division 4. You have enough game experience for sure. Played enough games. If we go to Division 5, I for sure would still put you into Division 4. But yeah, we have the VLRAs going up. These are the key. They need to do the job. If otherwise the Me Too Urns could just completely ruin the whole opener. With them being around, Matkar has to be careful. Like you ought to give up the whole north at the beginning. Focus on not losing Bravo. I kind of expected T55 to go for Bravo as well. I feel like a +2 here should long term not be enough against Knife Panzer. Yeah, Matka is up to 120 by now. Huh, okay. Has played quite a bit then. Let me check what the response, how high it was when he signed up. He was ranked 300 back then with 50% win record. We have T72 MEVs here coming around. We have Aufklärungs M1 in as well. Yeah, he was one of the highest ranks that we had in their division before this season. It's for sure the highest level skill Division 4 that we ever had. It's just with the game getting older, and a lot of the casuals that still play quite a bit showed up, which is nice though. Having it a nice place for just casuals and players who want to get their toe in is nice. On an optimal level, we would even split those twos, but yeah. But, for that, we would need more sign up to have a full-on fresh player division and the casuals, and then yeah, Division 3 being the guys on the way up, 2 being the regularly good players, and Division 1 being the absolute beasts is basically the idea. MX-10 RC going up here. Yep. Chloride's voice, unfortunately, is seemingly dying a bit, so that's why we're solo casting here today again. Yeah, we have some Green Berets moving to the front line. Yeah, new divisions are dangerous. I did similar things, Erwin. Couple divisions just ruined my ladder completely. One of first when it first came out was one of them, but a couple others were even worse. I just couldn't make them work at all. But I still tried to. Into MEV around. The best of times I had when I played a lot of Mnet when it first came out. Everybody thought it was a shit division, so they didn't respect you. So you absolutely bullied them. And then it somehow got buffed, so it was even stupider. But by now, people actually figured out that it is busted. In my POV, it was always a really, really strong division. And 16th Panzer, the Belgian one, pretty similar thing. And like people just completely underestimated how good it was, which was pretty hilarious as well. Well, but don't worry, everybody knows this map pool, division pool. You just aren't allowed to tell yours. And, and don't make it as obvious as Ben. As yeah, Matkar with the Knife Panzer here coming around with a decent force now in the south, has two T57 MEVs, has a decent force there. There doesn't seem to be any bigger attempt of directly hitting Bravo here from T55, which is fair. T55 is focusing on just getting complete control over Delta and Charlie. There is still an attempt on combating that on the side of Matka. He has removed the Me-2 helicopters, brought around the MiG-23 MF instead. Is flying a lot of defensive pathings here though. Let's be having Mirage 2000 now, going up on the other side. Nice looking plane. Trying to get around against the MiG-23. MiG-23 now starts moving into its direction. It's a pretty even fight. Goes out better for the Mirage so far, and it gets the kill here. He's under fire from below. MiG-23, first blood for the Mirage. Has the 30% ECM. Missiles of it are on a similar level, so yeah, gets the W there. And will get out alive. Gazelle Cannon also getting on top of the BMP-1 Recon here. That is bad news for Matka forces up here as well. So TKS is doing the things that TKS needs to do in this matchup. Two Aufklärungs BMPs already down. These are the things that you need to do to have a chance. This division is supposed to bring the damage, and going after the Shilka now. Shilka doesn't have smoke. It gets blown into smithereens by the Ginas. Okay, T55 is out for blood. Has come prepared for the TKS opener. I like it. And Matka has to find a way of not falling apart here, basically. Ginas still have some rockets. One kills a 30mm grenade launcher, the other one kills the Me-2. Going after the Shilka in the north, but without rockets, you don't really deal much damage there, so that one actually might nearly go down as well. Second one did do some damage. MiG-23 here. Decent investment to make sure that the Ginas go away. Gets a kill there. Interesting. The Starfighter Fighter is in the deck as well. That's usually something that I skip when I play the division. But it gives you a really cheap helicopter hunter. And really fast little jet as well that with the AIM-9Ls actually has a decent air-to-air missile and a good gun with the Vulcan. The issue with that thing is that it can't dogfight for the life of it. has the worst turn rate in WARNO, so you just have to go for the first head-on and then just get the hell out of dodge. Well, Villarreal Milan does go down in the south. Matka still pushing on. Has a clump of units in the north. Interesting that he tried to contest that and actually might succeed there. Fallschirmjäger B1 on the march towards the forest. The Green Berets will win this, but they should not move forward. Yeah, this is a mistake. 30mm grenade launcher and BMP1 will kill it, so should have stayed where it was. It was in a good spot. Now it actually might just die. As the Molotov clearers are moving out of force. Okay, used smoke instead to break line of sight. Good usage there, as they are about to finish off the Molotov clearer and disengage again. Yeah, Molotov clearer over here do get killed in transport. AMX still hunting on the reinforcement roads. This is what you need to do, whilst Matka is taking the areas that he needs to take as well. So both sides generally playing the game the right way around. As Matka has to be careful. If Matka starts losing too much stuff in the north or in the south, the front line could still fall apart quite quickly. Loses an MEV here to the Gazelle Hot. Good investment by T55 on the hunt here. As the T72 MEV does smoke off in time. Has to disengage. MiG-23 MF gets the kill. Oh, MiG-23 gets the kill against the Mirage as well, together with the Coups. F-104 fighter trying to get on top of it, but after the Coup has to be really careful. Only 8 hit points, so Coup would one-shot it. But the Coup now out of missiles. Molotov clearers desperately trying to hold the front line. Gazelle got killed, but the MEV did disengage for now. Matka has to be careful to not throw too many units away against the units on his reinforcement path. Has a BMP2 now coming up, has some Pioneers coming up, has some Me-2 Urns moving up here into the north as well. As the CV is contesting the northern zone. But Spalchemager tried to push forward here to the open field. MTLB and T72 moving into position where they maybe can assist against this. BLRA does go down. Gina hunting down the Shulkas does continue. As the Me-2s do their best here as well. Oh, not quite killing the CV. Oh, that is unfortunate. Well, okay, now they get the job done. 30mm grenade launcher trying to assist here as well. BMP moved around. We have a Gina getting shut down by the Coup in the south. Fallschirmjäger did kill the Molotov clearer, but too much firepower around it, so they go down as well. As we have some tanks showing up for the West Germans. They are not great. The Heimat M48's reservist tanks are 65.10 hit points. That's 10 frontal armor. That's the good part. The rate of fire of the main gun, not so great. After the stress, usually pretty fine as well, but yeah, the reservist, the damage on the main gun, the reduced accuracy, all of that gives you a bit lacking, whilst the Super Puma gets its aeromobiles out there. This is the unit that you kind of want to get into these buildings in, maybe shooting down some enemy BMPs. It's actually a +2 for Matka right now, and that obviously is terrible news for TKS. TKS wants to be the aggressive of the two divisions. Coop gets the F4 down. The M48 is pushing forward. Airmobile gets found out by the Me-2. That likely will go down here in a second. As we have another Gina rocket run trying to get the front line under fire. Oh, Airmobiles don't go down. But they reveal themselves here, getting just a bit too close out of cover there, and the T72 MEV able to engage them, able to kill them off. Coop gets reloaded here in the rear. Milan does kill the CV at least. as the M48s do push forward. Gazelle Cannon versus Meteor in the sky. 50 cults try to assist as well, as both sides shoot at each other with their autocannons, and both of them go down. Mutual destruction. Ooh, Iltis tried to get the coup here as well. That would have been a nice kill, but the Ginas still use their power in the north. Airmobile and Cream Beret on the hunt here. BMP-1 CV does go down. 30mm grenade launcher does go down as well, but so does the Gina, so does the F-104HE number 1. Big 23 here on the hunt for the second one, and the coup keeps on couping. It kills 2 of the F-104s here. That is really annoying. Those HE bombers can be quite strong, but it kills the next F-104 as well. Yeah, using the Starfighter against an enemy with coups, where they just get one-shotted, that is a tough time. Gazelle cannons trying to rotate around. By now, Matka is ahead in points, so this is looking quite good here for 9th Panzer. Airmobile does go down. We see some BMPs still being ambushed here in the rear. We see an AMX still doing its best to get some more kills on reinforcements. This is how you need to use this. Okay, but Matka realizing what is going on, does get the smoke out himself. MiG-23 might just strafe this, as it does not spot anything right now, but used for strafing here is going after the Gazelle Cannon instead. Arrow Eclairs will win the fight against the Aufklärer here. That's the BMP here, likely will go down at the same time. Milan 1 trying to assist against the T-72s. Might be good enough here with a side shot. Yeah, does kill a T-72 as the MX RC likely will get away here. F-104 gets behind the MiG-23 as well. So that's a nice kill there too. The BMP-1 here likely gonna die. Has the slow missile, but does not get hit by the VLRA. Good thing about the VLRA is that it has 8 reloads. MiG-20, F-104 still goes down there in the end. M48 is trying to rotate around, does get side-shotted by the M48. By the T-72. 48 there, down to 2 hit points. No AA in the south just yet. We have a Roland, we have a Gazelle. As T55 is trying to get the north back under control. It has a CV in there now. Green Berets trying to rotate around the flank, but the Fallschirmjäger B1 already went down. No bombs, no artillery really on that target right now. Yes, ATGMs try to save the M48. Do get the route here and slow down the T-72 likely heavily enough that another ATGM salvo could find it. Gazelle Hot coming around as well, and the Milan 1 finds the next MUV. Ah, that's a good opening in the south. Matgar needs some reinforcements for the Bravo point. Is currently heavily focused on the north, is still doing fine in the north, but TKS is keeping the grind up real enough at least to not let the 9th completely solidify here. Another Starfighter against another coup though. Yeah, that is not working out here. The air is still 100% Matkar's advantage right now. TV trying to move around. BMP2s still getting shut down in decent numbers, but the northern situation here is fragile. The coup, really good investment there. Shilka coming around as well to get in and help out against helicopters, help out against the Ginas. With the coup behind it, Ginas likely should not be able to dive on it like they did before. And Gigaführungs units still haven't gotten around to get the capture going on here. That's the great news for 9th. The good news for TKS is really that they have gotten the enemy to be attritioned away a decent amount. Ah, the F-104 is bombing the wrong part of the map. Hutchinson go down to the Gina. As a T72 MK is trying to get around. Jägerführung's moving in towards the south. Likely will get the capture there. We have the Mutchitson here. Slowly trying to get forward to BMP again. +1 here for T55. No M110 on the battlefield yet. Is trying to do it with the air when it comes to the grind. Is bringing more Fallschirmjägers. Has a lot of potential for ATGMs. If he can get into the forest here, Fallschirmjäger B1 and some Heimatjägers and so could do some nice damage towards Papa as well. But at the same time, somehow has to keep alive in the north as well, and that won't be easy. AMX of 1. Oh, should disengage there. Is smoking. Not easy, but is doing it. Yes. Zelhot does get gunned down by another Shilka. BMP1s keep on rolling forward. Mutchitson in the middle with the BMPs getting ready to unload and get into decent positions there as well. As we have good amount of light equipment here coming around for for 55. With the +2 now, about to overtake the lead again within the next minute. But still would want to get more. +4 would be amazing. And maybe setting up some pressure against the enemy rear zone. That would be the absolute dream. As the MX-10 RC gets a hit, but does get hit itself. The reload pretty long here, but the MX-10 RC has to disengage the one over here as well. As we don't have an M110 on the battlefield yet. And that I'm a bit worried about. Because I feel like by now an M110 is kind of needed if you want to keep the trades up somewhat as TKS. Without it, keeping up getting the kills and starting to set up weak spots in the enemy defense line, that's quite tough to achieve without artillery in WARNO. It's not impossible, but it is pretty tough to achieve. Feldjägers in VW. Feldjäger coming in. We have an F104 with ATGM and one with bombs. The bombs do drop. They don't get on target though. And the coup did find the F104 AT. And so that's another annoying kill against T55. Who now is starting to get further and further ahead in points, but by this with still 23 remaining could be a game that our player in red, that Matka should be able to get under control now with one of the most efficient combined arms division that can go late game with 9th. As SU-22 does a decent job with the bombing run. He's not getting hit by anything out there. Hutchinson will try to break this thin line here. They are doing a decent job in the north as well. So 2 good pressure points. If both of them get captured, then there is a big problem here. T72 MK does go down to the F104 AT. Now the Gina rocket trying to get in here as well. Poop did do its duty, but did fail to get the kill this time, just yet this time around. Well, the BMP is now pushing in, and oh, the Roland is super exposed. No AT over here. T72 is pushing as well. Roland tried to smoke off, does get killed. No real AT here. This is This is looking terrible for the side of T55. Did send up reinforcements. Has the M110 now coming around just yet? And he's firing up north a bit. So all units dying here are the blue ones, and this is really where Ninth wants to be. They are now out of the tick range, and they are even about to get the tick back into their favor. And once that happens, I don't believe there's a real way here for our player in blue to make it happen with TKS. The speed has just run out. It is a light infantry division. It doesn't have the IFVs for staying power. It doesn't have the tanks for staying power. It needs to do something with its mobility and agility and the early pushes, and there was a really, really solid setup for Mudguard to prevent that from happening. As Heraclers try to move around, the Pioneer trying to get in as well, whilst Gazelle Canon is the only unit here. M48s won't change anything in these tank combats. The T72 just wipes the floor with them. So they are not really a solution for the bigger problems here right now. Not even that great against BMP2s because they don't deal that much damage against them, whilst still getting a good amount of damage from the enemy conquerors. And all of that leads to the M48 maybe not being the best option. At the same time, the F104s, though, those are really in a rough spot here. The coup setup here from the beginning, really, really solid on the right side. And they did their job there. Gazelle Cannon does find some way to get shut down there. And now a good couple of red units here on the list as well, but CV is on the way. And the situation should be somewhat okay. Have some more plane action here with a MiG-23 MF. Needs to keep the sky clear, but artillery M110s here, they don't really get the hits, and they need to get some massive hits, as the South is just so wholly unprepared here right now for T55. I really enjoyed the opener, but they just didn't quite do the follow-ups that they needed to do. The airplay here, the F104 is just not really working out in this matchup against AA that can just one-tap you with 9 damage against your 8 hit point planes. Those are always pretty scary matchups, so that's where you should usually restrain yourself and don't go after them. But the situation here with the F104s and the Mirages is starting to look pretty dicey. +1 for our Mudguard CZ here. That's the southern zone. Is about to be captured, about to turn into a +2. Then have UH-1Ds here trying to get the Fallschirmjäger Führers to the front line, but the lack of any staying power, that is the real issue of TKS. The lack of having mostly pretty lightly armored vehicles that just can't take a beating at all is really quite risky, guys. What's up north? We have a setup push here from T55 again. I'm at M48s, but HE SU-22 already coming in to deal with that. That already might remove the infantry support for the whole situation. Oh no, it's actually going after the tanks. Or not, going after the leader in the end. Okay, not a solid, not a bad kill either. Pretty solid there as well. Whilst we have Mirage 2000s in the sky, above the coop, above the Shilka, getting shot at, getting pushed back. And at the same time, decent push back in the south, but point lead is nearly melted away. Still 17 minutes to go. And Matka is in doing exactly what you need to do as 9th. Is standing in the special infantry of the Soviets to deal with infantry positions and the M1 fire support for your infantry above them. The BMPs do start pushing in here now. Green Berets, airmobiles, all starting to get overrun. Reinforcements on the way here, but the Igla is around as well. Oh, no smoke. Might be another dead CV. Oh, it is another dead CV. As the tick has been stopped. CV in the north did go down as well, so that's the new idea. Just trying to snipe all the enemy CVs. T55 is ahead in points right now. It is by a slim margin, but he is ahead in points. So T55 just needs to keep the focus on the key units that need to be taken out. Those heavily pushing tanks were part of it. Milan 2 against the BMP 1. This might work out for Milan 2 as well. Yes, you have Super Pumas in these numbers arriving, but at the same time, red forces in the north are so scary. Okay, Fliegerfaust. Igla being pushed forward here, trying to deal with the helicopters. Tanks not quite following just yet. But the rear zone here seems to be quite open at the same time. There are a good amount of gaps here on the other side as well. AMX-10 RC will try to find AMX-10 RC here. If it turns the wrong way, it might still get potential amount of damage. That's the MVV's last remaining tank in the north. So Mirage here flying around, and the situation starts to crumble a bit here for 55, but they do a good job of setting up the enemy. Okay, we have Milans moving forward. We have two MOR10s aiming for the corner. This might be a win condition. Two MOR10s might be the win condition that TKS, the Territorial Kommando Süd, can go around with. The interesting multinational, mostly German, but some Americans with the Green Berets, some French with the airmobile forces in there, how well they can do. Dural does go down, that's a nice little damage. He's aiming for a similar spot now again, most likely. But a lot of ATGMs come in, and that's the reason why this division is not great at pushing. ATGMs are fantastic defensive weapons. They are not that great on the offense, so that's why you want to have a point lead. As TKS, you want to use your forward deployment, get that point lead, and it's currently a rather slim margin there. There are still a lot of solid units to come out of T55, but at the same time, the ball that can be created by smoke and a lot of T72s is pretty scary as well. Okay. We see still some more combat. 12 minutes only to go. Both sides are still really, really thin. Either side getting a tick online here likely might just decide the game at that point. 12 minutes is not super short just yet, and especially as both results are so close, but you still would want to start getting a tick here if you could at this point. So that's something that Matka should strive for, trying to get around 4 point. Hasn't used any artillery. Brings the mortar team now. Doesn't really have repairs. Never got back into the center either. Fallschirmjäger B1 do get shredded in the north. That's good news here for Matka. And Matka is about to bring a CV in here. Oh, F104AT out on the hunt again. There's the F104. Does get shut down. Milan 2. Trying to engage the BMP1 in the south. Yeah, I'm a bit sorry, guys. I didn't have the best night of sleep. And somehow my circulatory system after a full day of work is just not quite feeling it right now. Already standing on my desk right now. I'm already drinking a bit of water and so on, opening the window, get some fresh air in and get my system back up and running again out of the sleep modus so that I can get you a bit of better casts in the second game. The play-by-play here right now, not quite where I want it to be, but usually that works out. Yeah, it's how my body works since the dawn of day. Has happened in a lot of casts in the past, unfortunately, as well. That once my body says it's sleepy, it tries to shut me down forcefully. I have to heavily fight it. T72M1 gets shot here by an ATGM. We see a lot of blue forces dying. We see Matka getting into the north, and this is a terrible news for T55. Falls behind again in the points. The M110s could create some wild maneuvers. There is a relatively open lane here right now through the middle. The Milan 2 is in a great spot. The T72 can't stay here. There are Milans on the other side, so enveloping here in the center, this is nice, but at the same time, Matka's push in the north was quite good as well. Good back and forth here between the two players. MEV moving forward as it tries to get in. Mankat 6x6, forced to fall back. Oh, we have good bombers here coming in and no Eyehawks ready to greet them. And that led to some good bombardments that might now open up the middle. MP2 reinforcements being brought up as well. As the Mirage 2000 should not get around here. Well, in the south, no coup. So maybe it actually even can do a bit of work. As we have a lot of Grimber Race and Heimatjägers going for the north, but I feel like T55 should focus more on the south. This is too much investment into the north. You can only get a point back there, which doesn't allow you to get a tick. What if all of these investments would right now walk through the middle? You put one more ATGM in here, one more ATGM up here, and then the enemy is in absolute trouble, because then you can cut down their whole south and Papa, potentially, plus still have a bit of a support for Delta. But this reinforcements here is the wrong move right now. Obviously, we know how the position of the enemy units is right now. We know how little there is in the south. That's something that T55 doesn't quite know. But they should do the math and realize that the north is not a way that they can actually get a victory out of this. So that they have to go for the south and should invest more down there. Instead, it is a lot of investment towards Delta and Charlie right now. That is not getting you anywhere right now, T55, and that's also where the enemy strong points aren't. That's always what we try to tell you guys. Attack where you are strong and the enemy is weak, and don't push into the enemy strong points. Try to fight the weaknesses, especially important with the lighter, faster division here. And the Green Berets and Heimatjägers on their own already completely ruined the south here for Matka right now, but he has enough time to get the reinforcements in because the blue reinforcements are in the north. Instead, if they would have gotten in here, they could have already be here. They could already have all of this under control. But yeah, T55 just playing the wrong angle right now. And you just can't afford that when you're playing the lighter division. Like, even with the heavier divisions, you can't really afford it either, but especially with TKS in this matchup, this is problematic right now. F111 does find an MEV. F111 could maybe find a T72 in the south as well. S22 coming around on the other side. MEV eats a bomb. Cluster bomber do fail to hit anything. MiG-23 doesn't get on top of the F111, but actually could come around just at the end of the game. Once more. Could show up one more time there. And the F111 did create a bit of space here. One M48 gets got. The Iltis Führungs is moving in, but you still need to get a CV into the south. Iltis Führungs there finally starts moving. 7 minutes to go. You have a bit of infantry in here. The Milan is empty in the middle. One of the Unimogs should rotate. Oh no! And the Iltis Milan gets bombed in the north. There is no follow-up there right now. Oh, there is an investment into air AA right now, but that's not the way. With 6 minutes remaining, it doesn't really even matter. At this point, investing into iHawks is not something that you can really afford. That should have been an investment a while ago. This should be a new CV for the North to desperately try to get in there. But by now, the reinforcements here look pretty solid in the South as well. So Matkar on a good path here now, especially with the T72 M1K here moving in the North as well. Yeah, T55 did do a good job of keeping the game low in unit saturation for both sides on the front line. Did keep the pressure up non-stop, but didn't quite do a good enough job in the early game of getting the tech online. And also now just did double down on the wrong part of the map. And yeah, that's just not something that TKS can afford. And Matka did a really, really solid job of always still having a combined arms around at the south and in the north to just hold on there for dear life. It was sometimes really, really close for it to completely fall apart, and it did kind of fall apart in the end, but T55 wasn't able to punish that, and that with only 5 minutes remaining, with Matka on the take, with already 400 points of separations, this game here now will go Matka's way. There is no way around that anymore. TKS just doesn't have a tool in its toolbox anymore to break through this 9th Panzer to pry that defense open. So this is Matka's game number 1. It was the expected outcome, but it was played in a great fashion by T55. So I'm pretty optimistic still that T55 has good shots in game number 2 and a potential game number 3. But the first one here will be a Matgas, and Matka will get into the pole position here. As my circulatory system is getting fully back, so yeah, I'm fully back with you guys. Martens aiming up against the BMP, down against the T72 now. Like, T55 is doing his best here to try to achieve something, but it's just not working out anymore. The BMP2s and T72s can just lock down spaces too well, and yeah, the early game just didn't go quite good enough to afford this here right now. 3 minutes 55. T55 doesn't want to give up. Obviously, it's just the tournament on the live on the line, so you want to give it your all. You have a lot of Reserve Pioneer coming in here now. 15-point squads, 6 men with UZs, really cheap flammable infantry, but it won't even arrive in time to make a difference point-wise here. We have 500 points difference by now, 3.5 minutes to go. So, yeah, we already can set up a bit for the next game. We already can look. That will be the first calf for Matka versus the 27 for T55. A much closer matchup when it comes to the two divisions gameplay. And if we go to I here, I'm so excited for 5th versus 31st. Like, that is just such a good armored matchup as well. So this all should be great fun. And these two players really showing us some solid WARNO here right now. SU-22 does get hit by the Rolands. The iHawk should have come around earlier. If that would have been on the battlefield 10 minutes before this, 10 minutes before it was bought, or 15 minutes before it was bought, then it could have really changed the outcome of these air engagements with the S-22s and so on. Buying it at that point was just a bit pointless. Like, it just arrived, 3 minutes rest. No bomber would come around to bomb you again, or few would with the reload times on them. So Yeah, the Hawk here. Not really of any major use, but this game was lost in a different moment anyway, so GGVP here. 2 minutes still to go. 55 wants to go all the way here, it seems. Maybe already considering what to do in the next one. Like that's always the question. Do you how confident do you feel into your own stamina and so on for these long series? The best of three can exhaust you quite a lot. So when do you surrender in a game that you feel is lost? Do you believe you are the one with more stamina and just want to get it out of the enemy? Do you try to get some more kills just to feel good and show to yourself that you can get some kills out of the enemy? Or like, how do you approach that? Or do you just put a check mark behind it, surrender, and get into the next game? Like, it's always interesting to observe how players behave in these situations and how they will also then get into the next game. Like if you lost the first one, do you go with a reckless push in the next one because you feel like the enemy might just be a bit better than you on this day and you just need to catch them off guard? Do you just play a bit timid because you feel like they might get you in the opener and you just want to get into a as standard as possible game? Or do you play just completely different strategy, or do you just play normal? Like that's always something that I love to watch, love to see, and see from the sideline uh, when we cast these games. So I'm pretty excited to see what T55 will do. First tournament show up of T55 here. So like we have seen them in the group stage, but first time in a playoffs game now with tournament life on the line. So it will be pretty interesting to see how that all plays out now. Last second here. GG. We have Matka winning game number 1. 500 points kill difference in the end. T55 did a really good job with TKS. It just doesn't have the staying power here. So this is interesting. And I don't think First Cav is the better division out of these two for the map. I believe 27 currently is a fantastic division. ADPVs are really good. Its guided artillery is just as good as First Cavs. The Tor is a fantastic AA system, and it has really, really solid infantry with good IFVs as well. So the matchup, I believe, is pretty close. Like the recon forward deployment of 27th with BMP infantry and so on at the GSR Matritka, both sides have similar things there as well. Like they are pretty similar divisions. Both have good IFVs and so on. And I'm quite excited for this. This should be a hot one. Game number 2 will be Mount River between 27th and First Cav. Yeah, I will just grab a coffee real quick, guys. So once I did that, we will be back with game number 2 here. So here we go, right live into the second one. As we have the, the matchup of 27th versus first calf here between the two players coming around here for game number 2. First calf coming around for Matka here on the right side, and on the left side of Mount River we have T55 bringing around the 27th guard. So quite a different matchup, quite the different idea for T55 of how to play it. It might be the slightly lighter division, but both divisions want to escalate with solid combined arms into heavier forces in the late game. And he might have slightly heavier force, so a bit lighter tank tab, but obviously a good bit bigger infantry tab. Both sides have a lot of IRVs to bring around, high quality BMP3, the best the Soviets have to offer, versus the most modernized BMP2, M2 Bradley. So both sides having top tier IIVs of each faction on their side as well. And yeah, it should be an interesting one. First calf, we have seen it win, we have seen it fail already as well. So it will be interesting to see if Mudgar can make it work here. I also wonder what the opener will be on both sides. Like, how many tanks do we see in the opening of this game? It seems like we already see the Sprout gameplay here, which kind of indicates that tank most likely not quite the thing to do, and you want to play a bit wider. The Sprout can be devastating here in this matchup. Like, the Sprout has the power to deal with the Acacia here. The guided round Acacia opener is interesting as well, for sure. As on the other side, we see some helicopter action. We see some recon units so far. Aero scouts, pretty solid recon infantry, 10 hit points, brings around some laws, so should be an interesting one as well. And yeah, for Division 4, the first game really was some of the best action we had so far out of any Division 4. And if you want to support the tournament in general, guys, and most likely one of these two players in the future, but this season Division 4 doesn't have a prize pool, but you can help getting Division 3 a prize pool, and you can do so completely for free. All you have to do is click the Matcherino link in the chat and click on the claim code button to add 25 cents that will be paid out in real dollars to the players that perform the best in Division 1, 2, and soon 3 as well. And if you get it to $800, you can also contribute directly, like, for example, Howling did, and just put in money directly. We will do a 24-hour stream. Plus, an anonymous community member will also put all the money that will be in the prize pool up to $1,000 and mirror that and put it into a donation to Action Against Hunger. So every single click here kind of helps out a bit in charity as well. And yeah, if you want to help out the channel directly, consider leaving a like on YouTube and follow on YouTube and Twitch so that you will see when we go live again. And then any direct donations, channel memberships, or subscriptions go a long way as well. Hey, what Dabin? Is that? That is not quite what it is in Dune, right? That sounds familiar. Is that from some sci-fi universe or so? Dabin? Or is that just a name? Yeah, it's Dune, yeah. Okay. Okay. Got that one. Nice. I'm a nerd. Exactly. More Devon. Okay, okay, I get it. Nice, nice, nice. And yeah, we have Aero Scouts coming in on the other side. Warriors moving up north. We'll try to get into good positions there as well. And we have Humvee AGLs with Cav Scouts trying to move in as well. But the recon deployment is slightly heavier potentially on the other side. Me-24K, that could disrupt the Blackhawk shenanigans completely. You get also the Mod Redka in the BMP2, which is a fantastic unit composition. And you get the Special Redka in a good BTR-80 as well, which can deal with the Humvees. Can't deal with the Bradleys, so it's pretty close, really, in all factors. Like, really, those might be, like, 27 might be the closest equivalent to first ACAF on the packed side when it comes to the unit compositions. Air taps somewhat similar in what they can bring around as well. So I'm really interested to see how this goes. It should be a full-on skill matchup. It should be about who plays better. Like, power level-wise, tier list-wise, I would put both divisions pretty close to each other right now as well. In my book, 27th is just a bit smoother division, but first has for sure good things going for it as well. For example, it has M1 Abrams and Warriors, which both go exactly the same speed. The Warriors finally have found a tank that actually works well with them, instead of all the British junk they usually have to keep up with. Like, in WARNO, the Warrior is fantastic. Real life, the Rarden maybe not as great as it is in WARNO, but the Warrior with the Milan already pretty good. Warrior Pleek still, in my eyes, the best IFV in the game, but they unfortunately have to keep up with Chieftains and Challengers instead of getting something like a Leo 2 or an Abrams usually on their side. So getting one of those now and going 70 kmh with them is really nice for the Warriors. As Me-24 comes around, gets on top of the Aero Scouts. This is the opener that you want with the Me-24. This, not so much. Phantom there, getting in and dealing some damage. The Me-24 stand down, is disengaging away now. Me-24K, one of the older Hind variants with still the Yak-B instead of 30mm cannons, and the Phantom does get around for the kill, as T55 started with attack planes instead of fighters. A bit of a mistake in my book. Should have just opened up with a MiG-23, and loses the Mod Strelky CV here as well. One BTR goes down. The Special Redka one, it at least got the Special Redka unloaded, and the Blackhawks here won't survive either, but that is unfortunate. And yeah, the Su-17 here not really doing much. Conqueror's unit does get shut down as well. Don't use strike aircraft on this map. People still play with strike aircraft on this map. It usually is never a good long-term investment. Whoever invests more into strike aircraft in 90% of the cases loses this map. And we have a pretty decent push here now by Matkar in the north. Got the victory in the center. And BMP3 tries to get some kills here, but BMP2 does go down in the north as well. We have the Abrams there. The Sprout is trying to get into a decent spot. But there is a lot of force up there. Another Su-17 being bought. Why do people not listen to me? Why do people continue buying strike aircraft on this map? We have enough video evidence of it never working out. People start listening to Proto Soccer. I know I'm not the best player, but I don't give the worst advice, guys. Listen to me already. Stop buying this garbage. Play with artillery on this map. This is not the map for aircraft. I like aircraft as much as the next dude, but this is not the map for them. There are beautiful maps like Airport to bring around planes and do nasty air spams and let the enemy rage quit out of the game. On Mount River, you're only gonna make yourself rage quit, and the BMP3 here getting overwhelmed because it doesn't have enough support because you bought two Su-17s instead and lost the recon positions. Like, yeah, this is looking pretty rough here right now for T55. We might have a quick game 2 right now because this was just not the opener. Motostrelky Medis pushing forward. BTR 80 trying to get in for the Aero Scouts. helping out there with the fire support. As we have a Toe Cobra killing off, Phantoms killing off the enemy. It's so easy to shut down, especially as you also have helicopters. Like, yeah, 2 Phantoms just shoot down the whole airspace, killing off 2 Su-17s, killing the Mi-24s. This was just, like, such a terrible idea, especially with 27, who just can't afford to not have combined arms, and which also has a pretty expensive combined arms, so any investment into air leaves your combined arms lacking on the ground, and yeah, Matkar is doing a good job exploiting that right now on the ground, whilst T55 is now hanging on for dear life on the ground. And had to now buy AA that just wouldn't achieve anything because the enemy doesn't buy strike aircraft, so you now have that weight AA around as well that try to protect your strike aircraft and just can't do it on this map either. Like, don't buy strike aircrafts on this map, guys. If it just will harm your win rate significantly. And Matka now is on a position where 5 minutes in, like, this is kind of how I expected last game to go with being this decisive, but it's actually game number 2 where T55 just gets ripped apart right now because he doesn't watch Proto Soccer streams in the past, or he just doesn't listen. He thought maybe I'm different, maybe I'm special. All the other losers don't know how to make air work on this map. I will build the one that actually is going to make it. Spoiler, no, you're not. You're just gonna lose like all the other people when you try to play air. Hopefully, those were the last aircraft that we will see from T55 for the rest of the game. Hopefully, he will return to the fundamentals and now play a better game on the ground. He had a good idea with the Acacia on the ground at the beginning. Should have stayed with that instead of buying an Su-17. Would have likely worked out a lot better, as this situation now is a absolute shambles. Like, +4 against him. That will put an insane timer of 11 minutes now on the whole situation, and basically no force with any pushing power whatsoever on the battlefield. So, yeah, this is looking rough. Of course, moving around, Motostralky moving forward. But Mi-24VV. Helicopters can work on this map. You have fantastic, beautiful lakes where you can move around on. You have this river where you can flank nicely as well, and there can't be a nasty enemy AA piece up there, so you can maneuver around enemy AA a lot easier than on other maps. Like, helicopters are a great idea. Buying strike aircrafts to bait the enemy into your helicopters is obviously counterproductive at that point, though. And yeah, Warriors here now, holding out the line nicely. And as I said, I'm not doing that to shit on T55 right now. Like, we see that in Division 1 still. Good many times that people will go after their reflexes and panic buy planes, which does sometimes work on other maps, but we have seen it fail so many times by now that people should just have their air tab removed from the game when they launch. Like, in ranked, you can't remove your air tab, your strike aircraft, from your deck. In League, you can do that. Just take out all the strike aircraft so you can't fall for it. You can't fall yourself for the panic buy. Leaving one card of strike aircraft usually is a good idea. Some things you still can strike on this map, but like, cut your strike aircraft tab into pieces before you move in. Like, put them away so you don't fall for the strike aircraft addiction again. Easiest way of not eating sweet stuff is just not having it available, right? So yeah, Su-17 is trying it again here. There is a MiG-29 now invested into all of this. The Thors at least help out dealing with the Phantom, but the Stingers here doing the job on the other side. Su-17 flying over the 2 Stinger teams, likely will be pushed back in a second. We have the Bradley SRVs that actually get... Oh no, that's the normal Bradley? They have a helicopter range. Right. That's how that works. Katsia now coming around. wishing it would have been here 9 minutes ago. And yeah, the northern push here, clearing this out, this is the way that this could still work out for T55. If he clears this up and maybe pushes through, getting around, killing the warrior, and then somehow killing the M1 Abrams, hopefully not trying to do that with a strike aircraft, but actually buying a T80BV or so. Or getting around with the Sprout. Like, that's the way how to maybe stabilize the game and still make this a game. 7 minutes 45 timer is pretty tough. There is a lot of stuff here in the center for Matka that currently is not doing anything. Like, that's the hopeful part. Conqueror's M and Sprout could hold uncoordinated attacks quite nicely as well. But you still need to find a way of actually getting into the north and dealing with the M1s and the CEV here. So yeah, T80BV on the way. Needs to go north. This is how you maybe get back into the game. It's not going to be easy, but it's kind of the only shot that T55 has at this point. Conqueror's M. Trying to get around. The ADBV will move in. Yeah. It does still work 10% of the time, but do you want to go for an opener that gives you a 50-50 chance of winning, or do you want to go for one that gives you a 10% of winning? I'm not so sure, guys. Like, yes, obviously, sometimes air spam still can win, because it's still a game about micro, and it is a game with RNG involved. So, but you're setting yourself up for failure and then trying to somehow dig yourself out of there with a lot of luck and hard work. That's usually not the long-term winning strategy. Ausnahmen bestätigen die Regeln, we would say in Germany. Not sure. There is a direct idiom in that for that in English. Exceptions confirm the rule. Is that a proverb that is actually there, or is it just a translation? Exceptions prove the rule. Never heard it in English, I believe. But Conquerors tries to deal with the M3 here. Does get forced to fall back. The TADBV hasn't moved up north. That trying to go for it in the center. Sprout at least made it over here with some good artillery hits on this building, or these two buildings. There might be a bit of chance here that this in the center might work out, but there is an MOD behind this with its crazy stats. And yeah, the infantry here on its own won't work. Acacia should get closer and fire. B24 should come around and help out with this as well. Conquerors able to engage Bradleys here. That's perfect. Those are the engagements you want. But Sprout goes down in transport even. Oh no. Oh no. This is the perfect Sprout position. Could just murder shit. But yeah, not that way. Phantom comes around against the SU-17s. The heavy Tor investment at least keeps the SU-17 alive. So SU-17 didn't achieve anything of value in this run. Tractor up here being targeted right now instead of the actual part of the map where you need to win right now because you're on a 4-minute timer. Instead, you try to make your SU-17 work in 20 minutes time, which you don't have. As the MiG-29 gets a Black Hawk down here, is unimportant as well. Yeah, it just comes down to the basic rules of Mount River and somebody trying to be fancy and breaking them again. Like, T55 afterwards didn't really play a worse game than Matka. You can't get back from that far behind unless your enemy does screw up and you play fantastically afterwards. So this is a really tough spot, and the M1OD will just finish this now with a side flank here. Matka gets the kill, and this is it. There is now no power left here for T55 to push with. Bit of an unfortunate game too, for sure. But I hope at least a couple of you will this will still be helpful for, because this is the first time you see the airs lose on this map, and you will never touch your air tap now when you play on Mount River. I hope this at least can work out as a warning example. TV tries to move in the north, but there are 3 tanks here. One of them like these, 2 of them are CVs, but one is an M1A1, and there's nothing here to deal with tanks at all. Stingers and Tractor Piers did move forward. LBU does go down. +4 does continue. Desperate move with aircraft that will fail once more. Might get the M1 here with this, but the 2 AA pieces are still behind us, forcing back the SU-17. Not quite getting the kill, but won't get back in here. And one MOD moving forward towards the center. 3-minute timer. There is a CV in the north that can just move in here right now, getting it back to a +4. No engagement in the south, and with the Strelky Comrade, will try to actually get the center, but okay, he buys a bit more time here. Just goes down to it though, and there is just no combined arms. And 27th is the division of combined arms. This is the division that just can't afford to use its combined arms, because out of the Soviet divisions, it's one of the ones with the most expensive combined arms to set up, whilst one of the strongest combined arms at the same time. So yeah, ending up in this position here right now with that division against another division that also does combined arms fantastically. So you're the one without, and the other side has fantastic combined arms. And obviously is not a great position to be in. CV here does get in for Mudgar. Next CV does move towards the center. So soon the +4 will be back online. There we go. +4 is back. 1 minute 50 here. And T55 just not having any shot here after that opener. Especially with a Mi-24K, like, you need to have a fighter out there. The enemy in a division with a Mi-24K, you either get away by not buying a fighter and not buying the Mi-24K, because you know the enemy knows that you have a Mi-24K and they have to buy a fighter to work against it. Or you buy the fighter and the Mi-24K and know that the enemy knows that you have the Mi-24K and will buy a fighter, so you buy a fighter to protect your Mi-24K because the enemy knows about it. And if you don't do it, you're just gonna lose your Mi-24K. The enemy will be happy because they bought the fighter that they need to buy and actually didn't fall behind because of it. And you didn't kill anything. So yeah, either don't buy both units or buy both units. Both options get you ahead in the game. Never just buy the Mi-24K and don't buy a fighter, because that always will let you fall behind, because everybody has to buy a fighter when you have a Mi-24K in your deck. And they want to do a bit of a more aggressive recon opener. So, like, yeah. The investment into SU-17s and the lack of protection for the Mi-24, okay, those were the 2 big failures here that just led T55 not having a combined arms on the front line, whilst Mudgar got the center with his recon units and had a combined arms in the north that could just thread through, and that got him the W here with not enough time for T55 to build up a new combined arms, and with that, pretty decisive victory here in game number 2. So GGVP, Mudgar will move on to the semifinal here in Division 5, and T55 will have to try again next season with hopefully better game plan for Mount River when it will come around again, because Mount River always comes around. One of the most popular divisions out there. And yep, Matka moves up into the semifinal. Will face Punk's Not Dead. That should be quite the interesting semifinal as well. And we have another quarterfinal ahead of us. BrokeAssSpaghetti versus phazedplasma. Quick break, guys, and then we're gonna cover those two games. Those won't be live, but we're gonna cover the replays here in a second. So GGVP here to Matka. T55 showed a fantastic game 1. Showed good spirit here in game 2 as well, but just came in completely with the wrong strategy. And it unfortunately did backfire quite heavily. And yeah, we will see what the next quarterfinal goes up. Let's see. Final quarterfinal of season 6. Will phazedplasma or BrokeAssSpaghetti make it? We will figure out in 3 minutes time, guys. So don't you run away too far. Maybe get yourself a coffee or a soft drink or some popcorn or whatever. And we will see each other with the So here we go. Another series coming your way, guys. As we have BrokeAssSpaghetti on the right side versus phazedplasma. And this is an interesting matchup as well. As we have DivMob coming around. No ban on this DivMob. Second Panzer Grenadier, 79th getting banned as they're supposed to. First Airborne still being hated on by Division 4 because those deltas are just evil. 27th here and 6 Leger make pretty good sense as well. 5th Blinde, I believe that's an old school band that doesn't need to be there anymore, but we get some old school divisions here afterwards. 11th versus 56, old school meta facing off against each other. And then 1st Armored versus 9th as the potential game for Omen in game 3. That should be exciting as well. And Divmop versus 2nd Guards, that is hot stuff. Excited to see Divmop in action again. We haven't had a lot of chances for it. It still got banned quite a bit. Didn't get picked as much even when it was open this season around. So interested to see, especially after the latest changes to the infantry, costing now once more 5 points more, having a bit better AT. I don't believe Divmob is that scary anymore. Like, it is still super annoying, don't get me wrong. 35th and 76 are still annoying as well. But I believe if you now get in there with your systematic dismantling of it, it can be systematically dismantled because it's not just stupidly cost efficient anymore. So let's see if BrokeAssSpaghetti, with a division that is really built for systematically dismantling the enemy with good combined arms, 2nd Guards can do so, or if phazedplasma can make it annoying, can get into maybe one of the rear zones or just shoot down T72s left, right, and center and win the game that way. Should be pretty exciting. I'm quite excited for this. And the Canadian division, I'm actually not quite sure. I would have to check the stats. Haven't really gotten all of those in mind, so this should be an interesting one. As we have Alouettes flying around in the south, Blurs coming in. Iltis PC will move here towards Anna and Boris. The other one move towards center in the north, so all around good movement here on both sides. Quite excited to see how this goes. And yeah, this should be an absolute blast. E24K will come around again. Let's see if we see a fighter with it this time around. Was the big downfall of the last matchup. Let's see if BrokeAssSpaghetti is better at protecting it. T72s, BTR-80s here coming into the center with those guards moving into the city blocks quite far because the Mi-24 is trying to get them the way. We have 4 deployed Mistrals on the other side. So 4 Mistrals here. phazedplasma is going better safe than sorry, and that makes sense with a Mi-24K on the other side. So that might be in big danger with 4 Mistrals around. Best manpads system in WARNO. French Mistral with great anti-helicopter range, fantastic accuracy, and the damage to back that up as well. Solid anti-aircraft range as well. So really the best manpads team without any real competition. Like Stinger is a distant 2nd best. Iltis PC here will move around through the north at Dimitri and then center. The Patox do the same on the other side, just a bit slower. So there will be a bit of a tick from the get-go here. As 15s coming around, 2 of them, to protect that Mi-24K. As the BMP-1s moving forward to the front line. F-16A should just get the hell out of there. He's being forced back and likely will not survive. Did I just jinx it? Where is it going? Okay, it actually makes it out. I jinxed it there. SU-17, the 15s fired 8 missiles at it, but it did just barely make it. The Mistrals here didn't load a bit later, but one of them is out and immediately gets the hit against the Mi-24K. The Mi-24K isn't the most agile unit, so trying to get out of the way is just landing there, but that leaves it open for assaults as well. So it does go down there. Stewards of the Redvedka does die as well. The Spets Redvedka over here make it pretty deep into the enemy lines though. Get around to kill the Iltis PC already, so that was a success story there. As the reserve para just respected maybe the B24 a bit too much there. Like, they could have been here. I'm not quite sure what happened there. That phazedplasma did shy away from going deeper. The BTR-80 at least does get shut down by the Unimox with the Milan ones. The Spectral Redguy now eating a lot of fire as well, but the Guardia, the Guardetti with the Medis, those are pretty powerful at dealing with these light vehicles as well. So first Unimog going down. Spectral Redguy in the north, rotating around nicely as well. As Southern forward units keep on advancing. SU-15 moving in here. Only a single Mistral team. And all the infantry just parked out in the open. This is not where you want to be as phazedplasma. I'm really not sure why phazedplasma didn't move into the town. That's a massive mistake here. And the Alpha Jet, when you know the enemy has two of these S-15s around, bit of a mistake as well. And those are already annoying dents now in the line of the division that just wants to keep it rolling. Divmob losing all the pressure in the north, already having to kind of go onto the defense there. BrokeAssSpaghetti just has to be careful to not overextend up north, but is in an amazing spot there. And with that, they can afford going a bit slower around the south. And that's just not what you want to have happen as Divmob. As Divmob, you want to have the tick, and you constantly want to trade against the enemy, and you constantly want to oversaturate them. And that's not possible in the north anymore. And because it's not possible in the north anymore, it's hard to achieve across the map right now. So phazedplasma has to be real careful now. Otherwise, this will be a tough one as well. M41 moving in. Para commandos with the Unimox rolling in as well. This is a great spotting setup here with the Motraj Redguy. They will figure out all of this moving along. And then you can set up the T72s, you can set up the BMP1s. Scimitars will spot this in a second here now. But M41's already first one getting killed off. The other is now desperately trying to assist here. Declars do go down as well. Reserve BMP1s at least got. Talk should not move forward. As I said, the only dangerous thing for BrokeAssSpaghetti right now is if BrokeAssSpaghetti does overextend here now in the north. Losing the T72 is something that you cannot let happen. And the user here maybe a bit further forward than it should be as well. T72 failing to get any hits right now. As it does get stunned down. Betsy moving in there as well. Decent setup here on the southern line. T72 smoking off. Osa. Like, those are the kind of units that you just don't want to lose here at this point. So, have to be a bit more careful. Trying to go for the enemy rear zone here. Maybe a bit much as the late game division here. MP2 with units inside does get shut down in the middle. phazedplasma getting gifted a couple of kills that they should not get right now. So BrokeAssSpaghetti playing with fire here, but that's the under fire. T72, super key unit here. Can hold the line with a bit of support. Damage-wise on its own, but the support is starting to fall apart a bit. And if it dies, then there is little here. T64 now moving in as well. We have BMP2s and so on the way, so there is enough on the way for BrokeAssSpaghetti to easily have a consistent front line here. Just has to make sure that the front line holds for now. Like the Redguys here. The 30mm grenade launcher now moving around in the south as well. No support vehicles here for phazedplasma to give fire support against this. M41s go down in the north. 47 doesn't really have the capabilities to kill the T-72. And with that, BrokeAssSpaghetti now gets into position they want to be in. And 41's slowly rolling in for the south. Helena is where phazedplasma wants to be right now. Good thing there on the Eyehawk. No artillery just yet. I don't believe you can afford artillery in the next 3-4 minutes just yet here. As BrokeAssSpaghetti, you still want to consolidate the front line, but as soon as that happens, you then really can start picking apart Div Mob bit by bit. Just like in the first matchup we saw today between 9th Panzer and TKS, Div Mob is supposed to be the division that has the tick here right now, and it not having the tick is just a massive success already for BrokeAssSpaghetti. And I really still, I kind of missed it what happened up here. Why only Dimitri for phazedplasma? Why they didn't move into center? If they were so scared of the Mi-24K, but they had the double Mistral team, so I really don't quite get it. As all of these units here dying in the open field, like that is what completely derailed their opener, and now lets them try to catch up from behind. It's hard to see how. Like, this is what I was talking about when I said, like, Div Mob, like, back in the day, you would have just bought a big blob of M41s and M47s and just A-clicked it over the field as reaction in minute 2, and the enemy would have still had a tough time dealing with that. That's not the case anymore, and as soon as cost efficiency does start to slip for these cheaper divisions, he gets so vulnerable, and they can get picked apart, and the games can just look completely desperate for them, and that's kind of what happens here for phazedplasma right now. Like, the T-72s are currently untouchable for them, and with the BMPs now coming around, that's just not gonna get any better, and M47s and M41s, they don't have any survivability. They only can survive in masses, and those masses just don't materialize here right now, so they just gonna get picked apart bit by bit. Like, I want to see a way back into this game here for phazedplasma, for the excitement, for the tension of the game, but I don't see it. Like, yeah, BDR with some RDC inside, that's nice, but M47, M41 going down, 72s and T64s here in a good line, trading against the BMP2, but infantry goes down. Milan Iltis will go down as well, and then you once more don't have enough firepower to stop the T64. You have 3 tanks alone here already. Not enough. T64 should just move in there to kill them. With 3 vet especially. Well, T64 here, just the T72 cleaning house as well. T64 not doing that is a bit weird. Okay, he's moving around a bit. Jagdpanzer over here goes down to the T72. T64 now engaging up north together with the Medis. 47 does go down. Or it could just go for this engagement. Like, no idea why it did retreat again there. Basically untouchable. T64 has arrived in the south now as well, together with the Conquerors. And there is enough AA so that the Alpha Jets can't get through. There is enough recon so that side shots aren't easily happening. And there are enough M41s here starting to die. You just always have to be careful to not get cocky against Div Mob, just like against 35 or 76. Like, it's a kind of similar game plan. And you just advance slowly, focus on the KD, focus on keeping your combined arms together. Whenever the enemy tries to push you, you just fall back on your combined arms, get further ahead in the trade, get more combined arms across the map, and eventually move forward bit by bit. And if the enemy doesn't get a +4 right at the beginning, that you usually should win in the long run. And now already on a +4 here with the rear being captured. phazedplasma in a lot of trouble. Div Mob It's still a good counter pick in some matchups, I believe, on some maps. Against second guards, it's a weird choice, and yeah, you have to fully commit now. It's not a division with get out of jail free card anymore. There is not just stupid cost efficiency built into the deck. There is still cheap combine arms built into the deck, but it's not built around a cost efficiency that is just through the roof. Neither with the infantry nor with the tanks anymore. And I would even argue that with the provincials being 50 points, they are not even good infantry anymore. Like, just like with 35th and 76, there is still a lot of PTSD around this division because it bullied some people. So some people are still scared and some people will still cry out how terribly efficient that division is and how evil it is when they lose against it. But it's not really the case anymore. So I don't believe we will see much div mob, as it's also not really a fancy division. M41s are cute, but we're gonna get them with the Danes as well, I believe. So we're likely gonna see them more there again. No, it's Iltis and Potok that are around here in the south. Usa does go down. Still some kills achieved here, but Quadrechka moving in, tanks are here. Usa for sure should be replaced soon. Don't want to get random alpha jets getting through on you when your SS-15s get shot down by the Eyehawks or so. But this whole infantry blob right now is just completely stranded. As the T64 here is moving around in the south. Bit of a mistake, no recon here on it. So, like, those are the kind of moves that you don't want to be doing. There is no real push right now for the red side. Play for the zones. Like, if you are equal and there is no tick, and you don't need to push at this stage. Unless you have a good combined arms. Still works out here in the end, because the micro is good. As F-16 AA goes down, didn't achieve all that much. MiG-21 bomber on the other side isn't the most impactful, but still does a bit of a job. Both MiG-21s do get shut down, yeah, against Eyehawks. Bit of a weird choice, but P-64 now. Advancing in the south, killing off some recon units. Can just push onto the Iltis. Out in the north. Here is pretty low as well. We still have a T64 here. New units are necessary to come in up here to reinforce the front line. New T72 around here for sure would be nice. There we go. Bombers did do a bit of work. Milan 2 now the next victim. But against ATGMs like this, the best way of dealing with them is just having 3 or 4 tank guns shoot at them at the same time. Then they just die before they hit you. You just need the recon and the 3 or 4 tanks, and then tanks get away without taking any damage, kill the enemy ATGM, and get away with making plus 70 move. You just have to get enough firepower to be overwhelming with enough survivability that the enemy just can't really do anything about that. Firehawk gets dismantled here as well, and yeah, phazedplasma is just running out of steam. Not really much you can do after the opener, and also really solidly played by BrokeAssSpaghetti. Like, the hold on in the south, not letting the enemy get away with an easy +4, that was well done, and the whole setup in the north, the whole engagements there. This is how you deal with div mob. Not every micro move was perfect, but the whole game plan was really where it needed to be, and that the Iltis PC here still being alive, that's a bit annoying to me. Like, something should have checked that and just killed it. But at the same time, M47s, yeah, all the transports and so on in the north dying, the provincials just tried to move over the open field, and that's exactly how div mob would have worked around launch. Like, this would have worked back then, but now with provincials being way more expensive than at launch per unit, the M41s and the M47s being a decent bit more expensive as well, that's just not functioning anymore. So +4 currently, +2 for the blue side, but the red team should be able soon to get back in there, and the T64 will find the Iltis to clear out the rear zone here. This PC doesn't get hit because the T64 is pretty stressed out with the first shot, but this +1 zone here currently getting overrun as well, whilst in the north there are still infantry units dying here. Provinciers P24V gets out onto the battlefield as well. One around in the south, the T64 AK clears out the rear. Bit more recon here now, bit more infantry, but that's all coming up. Already BMP2 in a great spot here, preventing those provinciers from getting anywhere, as they get shut down in their transports. F-16A get hit up as well, pushed back. Yep, all of them just dying. Really not the fanciest game, but a perfect show of how to dismantle DevMob. Like, this was a textbook example of how a normal player can do it. How do you play against a spam division? Obviously, the advantage was that phazedplasma didn't play as aggressive as needed. Otherwise, you would likely be behind in poise right now at this point as BrokeAssSpaghetti. But in general, BrokeAssSpaghetti still did play this really nicely. Hey, yo. Thanks for the raid, Heeman. Welcome, everybody, as we're going currently through the last quarterfinal of Season 6 with BrokeAssSpaghetti and phazedplasma here in Division 4 facing against each other, and it's a div mob getting completely dismantled. A perfect show off with the 50 points provinciers, that division just not being anywhere close to the scary div mob that we knew from last year. Fusiliers get taken apart. That division just can't win on the back of just being pure cost efficiency that goes into your face. That it has to play a lot more around its decent agile forces and putting pressure up around flanks and its ATGM walls. That didn't quite happen here because the positions weren't really gained for that by phazedplasma, and we have a +2. The second guards here soon should be ready to push on further. 4+4, 4+6 maybe even, and then that can end quite soon. Like, number wise, phazedplasma still seems like they have similar amount of forces to the other side, but each of those units are a lot cheaper. Like M41s, for example, being a fraction of the price of a T64, T72, or T64 as well. Like, less than 1/4, nearly 1/5 there. 72 gets the next kill, with the M41 not being even able to penetrate it frontally. TV's pushing down south. +2 does continue to take. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to see this div mob getting dismantled, and div mob not being the scary top dog of light divisions anymore. We still have light divisions that are functioning and so on. It's not like those divisions are completely unplayable at the moment, which is a nice thing as well. But div mob is not really best for it anymore. And yeah, the general core of WARNO currently being the mechanized divisions, that is how it should be. That's like Cold War 101, so second guards here and divisions like it. Like, those should be the divisions that see the most play, and then everything around it should be functioning and show up from time to in the right place and time. But yeah, BrokeAssSpaghetti just winning this with nice combined arms here right now. This is nice to see. A couple of units here getting shut down, but M47s, M41s still dying in numbers. T72 here taking the next engagement. There are supply trucks to repair. T72s going down. TMP2s push forward as well. And there we go. GG is called. Div Mob 2,000 kills behind. BrokeAssSpaghetti getting the 1-0 on the leaderboard. And with that, phazedplasma has to find a new way of winning in game 2, where we have phazedplasma bringing out 56 VDV. Pretty different division there. Thaler, a good map for that, I would argue. And we have 11th ACAF on the other side. Division that on Thaler is an interesting pick. Doesn't have the most infantry, doesn't have any. Does have the CV, which is good there. M1A1s I wouldn't count as the most amazing tanks for it. So, will be interesting to see how BrokeAssSpaghetti does approach the 11th ACAF Thaler matchup. Yeah, on the high ground against 56 could work out. Tanks are really important there. But yeah, we'll see how it goes out in 2 minutes time. Till then, maybe grab a drink or so, but don't you run away too far. Going to come for you with game 2 in a second. Game number 2, phazedplasma versus BrokeAssSpaghetti. And we have the beautiful map of Thaler ahead of us. But before we go deeper into this, once more the classic Metrino shout out where you can assist. And boy, we broke the 400 mark here. Tanka coming in with another $10. And you can help us getting closer to the $800 here as well. And you don't even have to pay anything. All you have to do is go to the Metrino link in the chat right now and click that and go onto the Metrino page. Click the claim code button and you will add 25 cents to the prize pool for free, which will be paid out to the players in the end. This is not money going to me. This is money going all to the players, as it always has been with these prize fundings through Metrino. Always 100% paid out to players. With the $400 stretch goal, we now also have a $20 prize pool for Division 3 winner. And yeah, the rest mainly being paid out between the top 4 of Division 1. Division 2 winner gets $25 rules as well. So, solid little prize pool here now as well. And if we get to $800, I will do a 24-hour stream again. So, might be a bit of an idea there as well. And if you want to support me directly, then YouTube memberships or Twitch subscriptions are the best way there. Obviously, just watching some ads from time to time helps a bit as well. And likes, so that there is more reach on these videos. Likes on YouTube go a long way for the algorithm, and just watching does as well. So, yeah, just stick along and follow some phazedplasma versus BrokeAssSpaghetti here, as 11th ACAF is coming around on the right side of things. Scouts with AGL Humvees, an M1A1 ACAF, and an M3A2 Bradley, all ready to bring some pain towards the center of the map. The M3A2 Bradleys are the ones with 5 frontal armor, so relatively hard to kill. We have the classic Spetsnaz GRU on the other side, followed up by a ZSU here, which is interesting. Not the biggest fan of that unit when you already have Stinger infantry that can do the anti-helicopter part, doesn't do anti-aircraft, and it got nerfed like all the other AA autocannons against enemy infantry, so not melting them as quickly anymore. It's still a decent unit, it has exceptional optics and so on, but not a unit that I would personally use in the opener. T62 here, moving into the alpha point. What's on the other side? Yeah, the focus is on the middle here. The OH-58s are interesting. They might be in danger there if they go where they're currently supposed to go. Whilst the recon units are all pretty pricey. M3A2s in the north and the south as well. Then a couple more infantry units here. This is usually not quite the angle that people try to play this map through. It'll be interesting to see if that works out for BrokeAssSpaghetti, whilst phazedplasma is setting up some defensive positions in the north. 30mm grenade launcher, a Fagot, and a Belazur. Then BMP to Modvachvetka for the middle on both lanes towards the center as well. Also, we have that T62 MDK with some Dejannikis and some Spetsnaz GIU Stingers moving around in the south. Those could just move in forward. Then if they spot the Bradley, could assist in getting rid of it. Maybe opening up something towards Bravo, where there are no other units for BrokeAssSpaghetti planned to move just yet. And yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, 11th ACAF, it is a lot of eggs in one basket kind of division, because your units are pretty pricey. Like, you get decent forward deployment with the recon units, but you also pay the extra tax for the optics and the deployment in all of those recon units. Your M3A2s and your M1A1 ACAF, pretty expensive, but you have pretty good firepower out of each of them as well. They can be really, really efficient if they get into the right spots and open up fire before the enemy really knows what happens. So let's see which kind of way this will swing. 56 with the Stingers, those are fantastic little units as well. And if they shoot down all the OHs, this could be ending up quite annoyingly for BrokeAss, because then maybe MiG-27 or yeah, could come around, just getting GMs onto the target. Business GRU Stinger actually falls back. Should have unloaded here all the way towards AGS, going down with it. Well, yeah, just dealing with tanks normally. Currently not looking so hot for phazedplasma. Dealing with air with the armor without air. The number of good ATGMs here somewhat limited. M1A1 ACAF moves in a bit. Has to get into a good spot. I got ATGM. Going to move around the side here. AGL under fire. ZSU does get the kill there. But what already goes down. AGS already goes down. And the ZSU does die as well. And that's why I don't like it. It can't deal with any of these units. You'd much rather have another BMP2 there around than that ZSU. There's Nicky Medis around, especially in the matchup where the enemy doesn't have good infantry. Like 11 ACAF won't beat you with their infantry. So you will likely suffer some losses there without achieving much with the ZSUs. Like those, there are a couple of helicopters that maybe could come around, but as I said, that's where the Stinger already basically does the same job. Both OH is now shut down. Like, that's why these Business GRU Stingers are so great. Now you might want to get around with one of those ATGM planes, trying to go for this already damaged M1A1. Do a bit more damage. Otherwise, these crowd forces might do a lot against you. ZSU here. Getting around to MD1. That's an interesting choice as well. Not the ATGM one, just the normal tank. That doesn't do anything against T72s, against M1A1s. Like the M1A1 with its 18 frontal armor, you can't even penetrate it at 2100 meter range. And it will deal good damage against you. It is way faster than you and it has better reload. The ATGM one is pretty nice against enemy Bradleys. You can do a lot of damage there and also can outrange the M1A1 and just deal some damage there. The normal tank, that is not a unit that you want to have around here right now. So, couple of misinvestments in my eyes here. Currently holding 56 back. It still always can go back to a good printer later on, but has to be careful to keep its combined arms around and not get grinded out too much by the amount of fire support that they currently can't touch here on the other side. Two Spetsnaz GRUs failing to get their hits. There goes the OH though. We have a Mi-24 P-81 moving around towards the center now. Pushing the south, that makes sense. Spetsnaz GRU trying to spot the enemy there. 8 does fall back. Center here, still going great for BrokeAssSpaghetti. As of Gunsies and LRS rotate around each other. PTR-70s getting engaged here. The M113 Dragon is actually quite a nice unit there. Rajvetka BMP2 does get shut down as well. 24P does fail to track there. M3A2 Bradley in, and the M1A1 ACAF, like that's where you want to have those planes. That's and instead of the T62. T62 just dealt 1 damage and then died, and M1A1 is continuing on. At the same time, Mi-24 gets shut down as well. Yeah, phazedplasma not really playing the matchup here right now. Like the setup against some lighter infantry divisions with the ZSUs and so on, like all of that would have made sense against a division that isn't a heavy M1A1 division that is based all around its vehicles. But exactly that's the matchup that you have to play here. So coming in with really little anti-vehicle and a lot of random anti-infantry is not a winning concept. Vision of Ganzi, for example, another anti-infantry squad, just gets bullied by a martyr here right now. Like, a really good show of how if you play standard, that and maybe standard that you're used to like get into your mindset from ranked, you should not always play like this there either. But like there are some auto mechanisms that you get into whilst playing ranked. But if you do that in tournaments, it has a good chance of backfiring, and that feels like what is the case here right now, because the whole center already collapsed now for the red units because they had no stuff that could deal with enemy vehicles. Like, next to nothing could actually kill them. There were a couple of Dejaniki Medis, but they don't have the penetration levels to deal with those American vehicles here on the other side. They couldn't kill the Bradley's one shot. They couldn't deal with the CEVs in time, and they for sure couldn't deal with the M1A1 ACAV. And now infantry is around to try to help out against the T62. M1A1 ACAV giving fire support assistance as well. But Bradley here, moving around the flank, will get into the rear of the T62. Heimatjäger does finish the job there. And phazedplasma now in a world of trouble here. Heimatjäger and mech rifles pushing through the center. This is not the game right now for 56 VDV. M3A2 doing its job there, keeping the T62 occupied, using its fantastic Bushmaster autocannon for some good flanking damage. Mi-8 with Ganzis, which even if they would unload here, wouldn't be the unit of choice. Like, this is phazedplasma on autopilot, and it's just not working. It's just not working against the mechanized play on the other side, and BrokeAssSpaghetti did press the button that you need to press as 11th ACAV if you want to have success, and is pushing that forward, keeping the key units alive, raiding from the get-go, making it uncomfortable for the enemy. Now building off that momentum without going too far ahead, but always getting more kills, always pushing for more kills around the battlefield. And potentially 4+2 here in the rear as well. Lamia engaging against the mech rifles. I just don't see any forces here that actually can work out against the mechanized blob. You don't have a big BMP2 wall that can just shoot down the enemy with a lot of Conqueror's missiles. Don't have some of the T62s. Like, the combination you would want in this matchup is 2 or 3 of the T62s with ATGMs that actually can tank a shot or 2 from an M1A1 from the longer ranges. And then a good couple of BMP2s behind that, so that you have a lot of autocannons and ATGMs that can fly into the enemy's face, and then some decent Dejanikis out of those BMP2s just rotating around the flanks. They have RPG 7VLs. Those can destroy the livelihood of an M1A1 really quickly. They can just wreck them quite fast if they get side shots, and frontally still do decent stun damage. And against Bradleys, they're dangerous from all sides, so those kind of units here. But the Afghansi with the RPOA just can't engage the enemy vehicles at all. Like, that's not quite it. Now we see Akranas with Metlas, more anti-infantry. Because by now the enemy infantry is allowed to move around as well, but that's not because you lack the anti-infantry, but more because all your units just died, and then those units couldn't move around after all your units got killed by mechanized forces. BMP2D is engaged in the mech rifles here as well. Rana moving forward, aircraft troopers flying in as well, aircraft troopers in the south. Going to unload. VCP should figure that out here. No push from BrokeAssSpaghetti here right now. A bit of a missed opportunity, but not really needed with the tick already going on, with the successes on the flanks as well. So can afford to let the enemy get slowly back in there. Give us the aircraft troopers in the center. There's Nikki about to get shredded. It's more and more forces move around the south here. 1A1 ACAV. Not getting around to engage the enemy just yet. LRS went down in the north. RPG 7 units. Fire here. M1 A1 ACAV does get the next kill here on the Medis units. Yeah, Fagot's not really the M1 A1 killer either. TV on the way for the +3. phazedplasma is just trying to get a cohesive front line up, but is still not playing the matchup here. And BrokeAssSpaghetti is not overextending. It's a bit of a boring game here, kind of like game 1, but that's exactly what BrokeAssSpaghetti wants to play here. BrokeAssSpaghetti wants to play a as boring as possible game, and currently phazedplasma doesn't really have a solution of making it less boring. So he's now trying to move around with the units here in the center, getting towards the zone there, but that's still pretty far out. Likely not really going to make it there. Rana in some danger there. Was M1A1 ACAV, Abrams pulling on the other side. Mech rifle flying in. The F-16 LGB even able to just go for targets like this because there are no other real targets on the battlefield. There's still a T-62 around, but yeah, going for the BMP-2 next. We'll find the kill there. T-24V getting attacked. The Strela might get the kill there. Yes, they do. But with that kill against the BMP-2, the rear zone here is open. M1A1 ACAV holding out at that spot. T-62 in the north does get shut down by the M1A1 as well. ACAV around here to maybe help out the Heimatjäger. Move up north and just completely destroy them there. More infantry moves them from the north as well. So DV should move over there. Should get the +7. Is so far fine with getting the +3, and phazedplasma is trying to play on for dear life. But that's not how 56 wants to play. 56 wants to get some space in the early game, and then just wants to shit out EMP2s on the battlefield to get that wall out, and that's just not the position it is in right now here. And when everyone's just catching EMP2s on the way in now, both of them going down. Me-24 does go down as well. Martyrs keep up the pressure as well, so everything is on the way to pound phazedplasma's +2 zone here, get the +7 up and running, and obviously with the tournament game on the line, phazedplasma doesn't want to surrender here, doesn't want to just leave that let that go, but there have been basically no kills whatsoever in the last 10 minutes out of phazedplasma, but they have been losing basically nearly every single reinforcement wave they have brought up to the front line here. So this is just not the momentum that the lighter division can swing around. And when A1 ACAV does go down as well. Going up 2 + 7 in a second here. $592, 6 minutes and 55 seconds now. Still a victory. Foxtrot Point could maybe get involved as well. 1A cap, dealing with the T62s. Bradley even gets a kill there. The other one in danger as well, and this KD will be really one-sided. It's a bit of an unfortunate one here right now. Not quite the exciting final match of the group stage that I hoped for, but once more, great learning experience, great show material of how to play the Division like 11 peer, and there we have the GG, as BrokeAssSpaghetti will take the 2-0 victory here over phazedplasma. Last one here in commanding 4-1 KD fashion as well. Really, really strong run by BrokeAssSpaghetti, and turns out that will have to really step up the game even further there. Tommy Salty already gave them a good run. Oh no, Super Xavi, I mean. Yeah, right, that's the matchup up there. Xavi will have to step up the game. Punks Not Dead versus Atakar down here. That will be pretty exciting as well. So those are now all the quarterfinals. We will move on to the semifinals here soon. Division 1, we have Stardeck versus Fortitude Fans. We have Procomi versus Bloody Knight. Bloody Knight Procomi versus Bendover. So great semifinals there. We have in Division 2 Only Skill versus 3-6, Alicia versus Bottom Feeder. Likely Only Skill will move on to the final by default there, because unfortunately 3-6 is currently not able to play. We're still trying to figure that out, but likely we will have to let Only Skill go through there. Division 3, we have Mike versus Anomalos and Apple Cider, one against Pregnant Wolf. Oh, we haven't covered Fluffy Unicorn versus Flying Ryan, have we? That's still a quarterfinals that we will have to cover. I'm not going to cover it today, though. My voice is not quite up for that, but that's still one. Okay, that's something for next Wednesday, guys. I'm sorry. I spoke too soon. Looking forward to that, though. But yeah, one for another day. For now, we're gonna end this stream here for the day. And I will be back in a couple of minutes, though, with a bit more Rule the Waves 3. Because I want to check out the new patch a bit more, and I really enjoy that game at the moment. So, thanks for watching, everybody here who are here for WARNO. We're going to go into the Excel spreadsheet simulator on Twitch and the second YouTube channel. If you are interested in some Rule the Waves 3 action, in some with the Royal Navy in a run with an interesting handicap. So yeah, if you're interested in that, be back in a second. I'm just gonna restart the stream.